7 Disney princesses who need to see a psychiatrist. Disney princesses have always connected with audiences, specifically young girls and women, because they always reflected how real women acted in real life, depending on what decade their movie was released. Real women, though, sometimes have to deal with mental disorders of varying severity, disorders that can be properly diagnosed based on their symptoms. And in Disney's animated movies, some of their princesses have also exhibited signs of mental illness. Let's take a look at our list. Cinderella, Dependent Personality Disorder. The original Cinderella was the second member of Disney's princess franchise, and given the period, we forgave her for being passive, submissive, and a tad bit clingy. After all, it was the 50s, and women were expected to have few ambitions besides keeping the sink clean and popping out a few kids. Unless she had dependent personality disorder. This is a diagnosis that's characterized by the constant need to be taken care of, and it usually develops from a bad case of separation anxiety disorder in children. For example, when Cinderella's dad dies and leaves her with a demon woman. However bad her evil stepmother is though, Cinderella doesn't leave. She's dependent and submissive until she's given help by her fairy godmother, another caregiver, until she's finally passed on to the prince so he can take care of her. Poor girl even gets a bunch of mice to dictate her decisions for her. Pocahontas, Histrionic Personality Disorder. While Pocahontas was way up there on the list of badass Disney princesses, maybe there was a tiny mental disorder lurking beneath the surface. Histrionic personality disorder is characterized by a constant need to be noticed, as well as the tendency to act dramatically or inappropriately to get attention from people. While people with this disorder often have great social skills, they tend to manipulate people to get what they want, and they feel the need to stir things up out of boredom. Pocahontas spent her 80 minutes of fame inciting wars, causing love triangles, convincing her dad and her whole tribe for that matter to do things her way, and dramatically throwing herself on top of John Smith every chance she gets. Her best friend was also a talking magical tree, so if that's not theatrical, we're not sure what is. Princess and the Frog, Zoophilia. Zoophilia is a paraphilia, defined as an affinity or sexual attraction by a human to a non-human animal. Such individuals are called zoophiles. Zoophilia might be called a lifestyle or orientation. Zoophiles tend to perceive differences between animals and human beings as less significant than others do. Princess and the Frog was based loosely on the Brothers Grimm fairy tale, though in the Disney version, Tiana herself turns into a frog when she kisses the prince, also a frog. The two spend the movie jumping through various figurative hoops together, trying to get their spells reversed, and in the process, they fall in love. Even though Tiana is technically a frog, she still mentally identifies with her human self, meaning that for all intents and purposes, she's attracted to an amphibian. It's an unfortunate subcategory of paraphilia, a condition that's defined by a taboo attraction to atypical people or objects called zoophilia. Tiana's turned on by an animal. MERIDA, Antisocial Personality Disorder. Antisocial personality disorder, sometimes called sociopathy, is a mental disorder in which a person consistently shows no regard for right and wrong and ignores the rights and feelings of others. People with antisocial personality disorder tend to antagonize, manipulate, or treat others harshly or without callous indifference. They show no guilt or remorse for their behavior. Brave was a really big deal when it first came out because it didn't have any male love interests. Instead, the movie focused on Merida's development as a character outside of her romantic life. What if, though, Merida's avoidance of males had less to do with her feminine strength and more to do with antisocial personality disorder? This one's characterized by a failure to conform to social norms, disregard for other people's rights, a tendency to bend all the rules, and a tendency to lie. It normally develops in late childhood or teen years, which explains MERIDA's emotional separation from her parents as she gets older. It also explains why she goes around destroying tapestries. Anna, ADHD. ADHD, which stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, is marked by 3 distinct symptoms: inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. Inattention means a person lacks persistence, has difficulty sustaining focus, a person who is easily distracted, and tends to daydream. Analyzing Anna, all these symptoms seem to be present, reflected through her actions. She gets easily excited over little things like windows and salad plates, and sometimes it seems like she can easily get distracted. Anna is also a pure and hopeless romantic, dreaming of romance the moment the gates are finally opened for Elsa's coronation ceremony. She daydreams to escape from reality and gets distracted from the present. Anna from Frozen is always moving, running, talking too much, taking risks and actions. Also interrupts the normal conversation and starts talking continuously. Anna attempts to climb the steep rocks to reach Elsa's ice castle, albeit her feet keep slipping. Her hyperactivity is noticeable throughout the film as she is always moving and taking action quickly. Jasmine. Bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder, also known as manic depressive illness, is a mental disorder in which a person has unusual mood shifts that go from up to down in cyclical patterns. When manic, people with bipolar disorder are often impulsive, likely to indulge in risky behavior, and don't consider the consequences before they do things. For Jasmine, this includes things like hopping on a flying carpet with a stranger, running away from home, and stealing an apple like it's no big deal. When depressed, they're easily agitated, want to be left alone, and feel hopeless. This girl spends ample time verbally harassing potential husbands until they leave, talking to her best and only friend, a tiger, and crying on and into various objects. Ariel. Body image issues. Ariel was so obsessed with becoming a human. For Ariel to become a human, she goes to see Ursula, the sea witch. Ursula suggests a proposition that would turn Ariel into a human being for 3 days. In exchange for her voice, her fishtail would become human legs and feet, giving her the ability to walk. The obsession with changing her body image of a mermaid and becoming a human reflects her mental problem called body dysmorphic disorder, or BDD. Body dysmorphic disorder is a psychological disorder that involves a misperception of one or more body areas. Individuals with BDD perceive a defect or flaw in their appearance that is either very small or non-existent. Areas of concern often involve flaws of the face or head. They may spend excessive amounts of time checking their appearance in mirrors, putting on makeup, or otherwise masking their appearance and seeking reassurance. Individuals with BDD will often avoid social situations and romantic relationships. As a result, high levels of anxiety, depression, embarrassment, shame, and self-disgust are frequently present. Check out one of our newest videos here. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out on more videos about your favorite Disney and Marvel characters and the psychology behind them. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.